Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody, and today I would like to share the way in which I play Plunder, the way that I enjoy playing it the most. It is, in my opinion, the best way to level guns, and definitely the most efficient way to unlock attachments while still getting into fights, while still killing guys, while still getting kills, and while still working on camos at the same time. Now you might be wondering, is this guide for you? Is this method for you? So let me answer your question with 4 questions of my own. Firstly, are you a free Warzone player only and you don't own Modern Warfare or Cold War? So you're just playing the free edition. Secondly, do you play solo most of the time or a lot of the time? Thirdly, are you an average skill player with basically like a KD around, like, let's say 0.8, 0.91 around there, which is generally considered to be the average? And lastly, are you struggling to level your weapons efficiently because, for instance, you're a free player and therefore you don't have access to any of the other modes and only have access to Battle Royale and Plunder? Now, if you answered yes to the majority of these questions, then I have not only one but 2 methods to suggest in helping you level these weapons more efficiently. Now, in the first method, I already detailed in another video on my channel. It's right up here, and I'll put the link in the description down below as well. And that method works great. It works very well, especially if you have double XP enabled from either taking, one of the buffs, or basically if there's a double XP event hosted. And that'll definitely help you unlock attachments for all your guns at basically like anywhere between 3 to 6 attachments a game, depending on how many of those bounties you finish. However, it is a very passive strategy built on basically avoiding other players and staying away from combat. So most matches, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you're doing it efficiently, you'll hardly have any kills, probably 0. And that's because you're trying to string to as many bounties together as possible, as many supply runs together as possible, and you're not trying to get into any fights, you're not trying to get gunned down. Now that's where the second method comes in, because as the title for this video suggests or states, I want you to be able to level guns efficiently, but also get kills with those guns, which is surely more satisfying, but also actually helps you to unlock camos and everything, which this first method, the bounties method, does not do. Now come over here, come over here. I'm inviting you to come aboard and become a certified area management professional, or camper if you will. That's right, it's BOOHTYSWEAT, your motherfucking boy here, with the favorite way that I play Plunder, my favorite way, clapping some cheeks and hopefully getting a hate death chat, or at least like a very loud fucking scream as I kill someone. Firstly, Jesus, what's going on with the graphics here? God damn. I hate it when it resets the shit, don't you? Anyway, cool. So what we're going to look at here firstly is the loadout and the thoughts behind that loadout. And secondly, we're going to discuss map position and basically where you can be a certified area management professional most efficiently, thereby helping you realize your leveling goals as well as just murdering some fuckheads. In this video, I'm gonna look at one of the best and easiest areas to control using this strategy, and in some following videos that I make after this, we'll cover additional hotspots around Verdansk, around the map, where you can set up shop and basically start being, the certified area management professional that we all know you can be. Now, this video will be a little bit longer than the preceding, well, not the preceding, the ones that follow, but we do have some basics to cover, and I do, however, create chapters for this, so you can just jump right ahead if the dulcet tones of my voice isn't doing anything for you, or if you just want to skip straight ahead to the creamy center. So loadout first. What we'll do is we'll just go over here. Now basically the weapons you bring in don't really matter, okay, because the idea is, first of all, that it's about leveling, right? So basically just bring in something that you can kill with, but does that mean that this method is not for you if you've leveled all your guns completely? No. I mean, you can still use this method to farm camos, and you can, still farm kills with it. So, fucking listen up. Now, your lethals and tacticals are claymores and stuns, okay? The claymores are non-negotiable. Before you ask me if you can bring proximity mines or something like that, no. Proximity mines or bouncing betties or whatever you want to call them, they're likely to get you killed alongside, any victims in most cases, especially in some of the locations that we're going to cover in this video and some of the other videos. And they introduce an element of distance management that, some of the traps that you're basically going to set, it's just not worth the aggravation. So claymores it is. Now, for the tacticals, you could technically use anything, but you kind of do need a get out of shit card to play once enemies do start making it through your traps or basically surprise you or something like that. And stun grenades work, great in this regard, and which is why I use them. I mean, if you can fucking get out of shit with a fucking throwing knife, then, by all means do it. But trust me, the stun grenades are gonna do the business. Now, next on to perks here. Basically perk 1 is cold-blooded. It's every fucking time. Trust me, I mean, thermal optics are not really a problem anymore in this game. But what this does, however, do though, is it protects you from being targeted by those fucking gunship helicopters that drop in halfway through a plunder match and at the end of the plunder match in overtime. So they're just gonna help you like not get targeted by these and completely get ignored by them, which is fucking great. So yes, cold-blooded is your perk 1. Now, perk 2 is two potential options available to you, and it basically comes down to how good you are at managing groups of people coming in at you. And then furthermore, I would take it one step further and say whether in the current week that you're using this method, whether it's trios plunder or blood money, or whether it's quads plunder or blood money. Now, in the case that it's quads, I would advise you to take restock as your second perk. That's going to mean that you're going to get a piece of equipment, basically a stun and a claymore, back every 50 seconds as it comes off cooldown, and that allows you to, set your traps up more, regularly after somebody fucking steps through them. It allows you to fry people's fucking eyeballs more regularly with stun grenades. So it's just, it just makes it a lot easier to deal with a 4-stack that's coming at you. Okay. Now, if, however, it's plunder trios or blood money trios, or you're a little bit more fucking, crazy and you can get jiggy with a bunch of guys, you're very good, maybe you have a very good weapon, maybe your gun skill is better, then you could possibly go for overkill. Now, this obviously allows you to bring 2 primaries in, which gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of your firepower, so maybe having like a long range option and then having something that you can switch to for, a closer to medium range encounter. Either way, if you're only leveling one weapon, then it doesn't really matter. And likewise, I mean, you could easily pick up something off of one of the steaming corpses that you're going to be leaving lying around and just level that if you haven't leveled that gun yet, or use it as a good, secondary option. I mean, if you're really planning on fucking going to hell, I suppose you can bring a launcher in as the ultimate, fuck this nuclear option, when somebody's got you trapped or surrounded or something like that. But, don't do that. Don't be that guy. Now, perk 3 is always shrapnel. Again, like with perk 1, you go, where we went with cold-blooded, you gotta go with shrapnel as your perk 3. Now, not only does this mean that, you get 2 claymores every time you spawn, every time you freshly spawn, you start with 2 lethals instead of 1, but anybody that steps on one of your little parcels of love that you leave lying around is gonna have their health regeneration delayed. And that means that you can seal the deal with, a couple of bullets or farting in their direction or whatever, because that's basically all it's going to take to fucking murder them. Now, lastly, the thing that ties all of this together is, in actual fact, your field upgrade. Now, what makes this work is that you're going to be using a munitions box. Now, the munitions box is another refresh mechanism that you have to get yourself 2 more claymores every time, and obviously more stun grenades every time you drop the munitions box. This is obviously a necessity if you don't go the restock way, because otherwise you're going to have no way to refresh yourself of claymores, which is kind of essential for this whole thing. The munitions box also naturally recharges by itself, so it's not like when you play in Battle Royale and you use it once and then it's fucking gone. So this will naturally recharge, and as you get more kills while it's on cooldown, it will accelerate the recharging of that. So if you drop a munitions box, kill like 4 or 5 guys, you've got a munitions box back again. Sometimes not even that much, sometimes, like 3. Alrighty, so then moving on to map strategy and positions. Here's a map of Verdansk, right? Now, we here at the Certified Area Management Specialist Academy have identified 8 spots that are suited for your special needs. And while technically you could, manage any area once you follow this method and, get a little bit better at it, the following 8 areas basically offer a much easier time when it comes to overall effort and, the intrinsic cover and protection that these positions offer. Now, in no particular order, they are air traffic control, storage town apartment, superstore flats, hospital, stadium flats, downtown skyscraper, downtown flats, and port authority. Those are your 8. Now, some of these are more suited for solo play. While not being impossible to do solo, it's definitely a lot easier to manage with more than one player. And some of them are perfectly suited for solo play, and actually some are even better that way. These 8 areas are chosen due to the inherent difficulty that other players will have to breach this once you're up and running. And also because of their relative proximity to hotspots or areas of the map where basically people congregate. Now, for the last part of the video, as promised, we're going to look at one of my favorite spots, air traffic control. And this is where I cut my teeth on the basics of being a certified area management professional, and hopefully with some of my pointers, so can you. When the game starts and the initial flight path of the plane looks anything like this, where it passes in close proximity to the airport tower, then most likely you will see some early contention and attention from players, and it's a good idea to head here. Now, the most important thing is the jump from the plane, because you're trying to land on the inside of the tower, securing it, and basically the upstairs area and the lift for yourself. Now, the danger here comes from players landing with you, as well as potentially getting sniped by someone on the airport buildings behind you, the roof there, or up in the hills next to dam. So handle any challenges quickly so that you can move on to essentially stage 2 of this plan. Now, once you control the tower, go down into the inside and secure the lift with 2 claymores. Plant them in a W formation, so they're sort of like aiming skew at each other and not right on top of each other. Now, the lift is one of the only 2 ways for them getting into your lair, and possible suitors will have to come up one at a time and try and seduce you. Now, 2 claymores will put any player with alive teammates around into a down state, allowing you to kill him with the gun of your choice, giving you the gun XP that this is all fucking about. If he's a solo or the last living member of a squad, then the 2 claymores will instantly kill him. Now, 2 things to bear in mind with the claymore setup is firstly the distance from the lift exit. Now, you'll notice that how I put them down, they need to be a little bit of a distance away from the lift because they need time to arm and explode as soon as someone comes out of the lift. And basically the lift ejects the player that's coming out of it slightly forward, and so if you put them too close to the lift, it can actually push the player over your claymores, therefore not detonating them or detonating them behind the player and them not taking any damage, and then obviously posing a bigger threat. Now, secondly, sometimes you'll run into some smart players that jump either over the claymores or try to run past them, and that means that they'll possibly survive the blast. Now, you need to be aware of this and you need to monitor this, and bear in mind that it's not a 100% guarantee that the claymores will always kill a player, so you'll need to act quick and just finish the motherfucker off. Now, if players eat your delicious snacks, you're gonna have to refresh them as soon as possible, so put them down and basically use your re-ups from your munitions box and possible restock cooldowns if you took restock to get yourself more claymores, to just keep claymores constantly being in front of the lift. Now, after the lift is secured, it frees you up basically to go and peek out at the top, possibly shoot someone gliding in, take care of someone that's potentially landed inside, or little fucking assholes that are in the hills or something like that you can take sniping shots at. The most important thing when it comes to controlling this area, this tower, is managing in-game callouts as well as responding to threats. As for in-game callouts, firstly, I'm referring to either players that are going to be skydiving in, or players coming in from the bottom through the lift, or basically kill streaks being deployed on you. Now, let's look at each one of these separately. Firstly, player skydiving in is probably the biggest threat of the 3. And what you're going to get is you're going to get the enemy dropping into the AO callout when the guy is 80 meters away from you. And then you're going to get a hostile dropping into the area when the player is 40 meters away from you. Both times still in the air, slightly elevated to you. Players will essentially spawn from 2 different directions the majority of the time. So either out of the hills next to dam, or west of the airport tower, so basically perpendicularly west of the tower. You can often tag them straight out of the sky as they come in, especially if you have a sniper rifle, and it's a great position from where you can do this is like halfway up the steps, sort of like exactly where I'm standing most of the time that you're looking at this clip. If you use this position correctly, you will be below any, sniper sight lines from either the airport tower or from the hill. They won't be able to see you, but you'll be able to shoot out and quickly pop out as a flyer comes in. Now, players coming in from the bottom is far less of a threat because usually you're gonna get the call out enemy soldier incoming. And you'll obviously also see the explosion animation from your claymores and possibly also get a kill already just off the bat there. But you need to be fast on these and go check in on that every once in a while because, as I've mentioned, players can avoid the damage and it doesn't kill them. So if you don't get the downed message, then you know something's gone wrong and you're going to have to go investigate. Lastly, kill streaks. Cluster strikes will 99% of the time not hit you in this tower, even if you're on the upper deck area. So if you hear the cluster strike call out and you're in a gunfight at the top there, don't let that bother you. Just finish your gunfight and then, duck down below. Precision strikes, on the other hand, can and will kill you 99% of the time if you're on the deck area. So as soon as you get the call out for that, just duck down in the stairs down to the lift area in front of the lift or behind the lift, and you should be fine and it shouldn't hit you there. Now, lift is elevator, by the way, if my South African English is messing you around. That's pretty much it. A lot of this might seem basic, but if you do this correctly, you can basically keep the tower from multiple intruders and rack up some serious kills and XP. Weird things can happen. Guys can come at you with helicopters. Guys can lie in the hills and snipe and everything, but you can avoid all of these by correct positioning and basically just dealing with people as they jump into the tower, because mostly they're going to arrive one, possibly two at a time. Your claymores cannot be hacked from below, so nobody that's coming in from the bottom of the tower, as long as there's claymores there, as long as you've spaced them correctly, then they should be able to take care of any problems that comes from that. Lastly, the reason why this part of the map works so well, especially at lower KD levels, in other words, less sweaty lobbies, is that firstly, players have some kind of a fascination with controlling this area of the map, and basically whenever somebody flies by there, they're going to try and land in the tower. So that's just automatic vulture fucking kills that you get right there. And then secondly, as players are having gunfights and fights and things like that in the storage town and airport area, naturally the map will start pushing them out and spawning them right above you in those two spawn lines that I just mentioned now. So you'll be able to just pluck these guys like fucking low-hanging fruit as they're coming down, which again recharges your fucking claymore box, your munitions box. I know it's a munitions box, but by Jesus, we just use it for the claymores. Your fucking claymores box, which means you can put more claymores down. And again, by monitoring these messages, you can keep track of this and earn your certified area management professional status. Po show. Lastly, if you do this with more than one player, it becomes virtually impossible for guys to get into the tower, especially if you have another partner that can pull you up if something goes awry. And generally speaking, that's when it becomes impossible for someone to get in there, and potentially people will even just give up and fucking go away. Now, sometime down the line, I'll be sure to bring out a video with maybe some advanced strategies on getting back the tower if you've lost it. But generally, I would say that you have what you need right now to keep the air traffic control tower all to yourself. Lastly, the benefit is that if you're dropping in solo, it will always drop you above where you died, so you'll have multiple tries, multiple attempts of taking the tower back if something does go wrong. But know that if a squad of 3 or 4 have taken the tower, then it becomes a little bit dicey, but we'll deal with that in the advanced strategies. Anyway, I know it's been a long video. Thank you very much for watching all the way through. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I fucking enjoyed making it. I hope this lets you play some interesting games, get some interesting proximity death chats, maybe get some interesting content, get a fucking shitload of kills, get a lot of XP, get all those fucking attachments, but most importantly, have fun. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and have a good morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are, and fucking cheers.
Say my name. BOOHTYSWEAT.
Who?